Well, hello everyone. Welcome to week one of School Finance, EDUA 558. Hopefully you have seen my introductory video, but if not, again, I'm Will Nederson, your instructor for these next 8 weeks as we start summer session one. I hope that your previous session was a good session, but now let's jump into School Finance. You hopefully have already looked at the syllabus, you have seen the assignments due, and understand what's expected of the coursework, and talking about discussion board and all those components. The goal of these weekly videos is just to give you an overview of the week. Maybe I can add some insight into what the focus is for the week and be able to spur some thought as you're heading into your text. So that's the goal of the week. I shoot for the videos to be about 7 minutes long, maybe 10 minutes long, depending on the content and what I can share and try and explain about assignments. But a reminder up front, if you ever have questions, please don't hesitate to email me, don't hesitate to call, or text me. Again, my cell phone number is there. Just that reminder, if you're going to text, just say, hey, Will, this is so-and-so from your EDUA 558 class or the School Finance class. So we're going to start this journey on school finance. And I know for some of you, school finance might not have been something you've been thinking about, and for others of you, you're really interested in it. So you've been looking forward to finally getting into this course and looking at all the aspects that are needed to finance a school operation, special projects, and many other components. So let's take a look at this week. So our first week, the idea is to get an overview and go into the syllabus. Look at chapters 1 and 2 of the text, and then there's some reading that we're going to be going into as well. But it really is trying to develop and implement a shared vision, and finance is a part of that shared vision as you're thinking, but really about management and learning of the environment and how you'll lead that, and then communicating and engaging the community. So our Christian message this week, just encouragement to you to take those moments to just read through that Christian message, reflect on it for yourself. Nothing is ever graded by it, but just that encouragement. And again, this week is focused on Proverbs 4, and Proverbs gives a lot of instructions, ways to think about life. And this one is talking about finance. Now, if you are seeing this video, it's because you found it right here. Again, it's not posted yet because I'm recording it, but you'll find it right there. There's always going to be reading for the week. The reading this week, we're going to start with chapters 1 and 2 of the text, School Finance, a California Perspective. The workbook and the CD material self-test for chapters 1 and 2, that's all materials connected with the text. So you'll want those to be able to measure your knowledge base of what you've gained from it. But really, chapters 1 and 2 are an overview and focus of maybe some historical components of why we have school finance, where it's written, who's supposed to pay for school finance, going back into our state constitution and understanding that we laid out free education for students within the state of California back when the Constitution was written for our state. Even thinking a little bit of the national history of school finance and understanding that our forefathers really thought states should be responsible for schools and financing of schools. So you'll get into some of those components. I'm not going to try and give everything away, but you also get into some laws and education code that have guided school finance as well. Then from there, you're going to have these 3 components. The school finance revenue manual. I just want to show this really quickly. If you have not looked yet, please know that this is a 299-page document. Not asking you to read everything, but maybe get the overview, introduction, and maybe check in on a couple of topics that you're interested in. And then the next component is an EdSource. This is from 2009. And that's part of our history of understanding where school finance is from, because we have had change. If you've been hearing about the LCFF, local control funding, or the LCAP, that is part of this change, but you need to understand where we're coming from. So this gives some answers to the basics of the California school finance system. This is definitely a 2-page document, so please make sure you read it, read those questions, and the points that are made from it. And then the last component is actually going into a website. And this is the School Services of California website. sort of gives insight into finances and looking at different elements that come into the financing of schools, also reflectively on how to address instructional needs through school finance as well. So this is a website to visit, check on topics, or I'm going to give you a little caveat here. Assignment number 3 is a presentation that you're going to be teamed up in groups on. This might help you get a couple of topics on top of what is expected there. So that is the assigned reading for the week. Going into the discussion board, week 1, I'm just going to click there so we can see. The first one is that introduction and your experience in school finance. So I know I started with, some of you might think this way about finance, might not know anything. This is your opportunity to share it. So again, it's an introduction. You're going to give me some information about yourself, maybe something new that your peers in the class can learn about you. Maybe if there's any summer goals as well. I would appreciate attached pictures so that way I can get a view of who you are as I think about interacting with you through email and text messaging, phone calls. It'd be great to get that picture as well. So if you'd upload that in post number 1. And then post number 2 is about equity and efficiency. Those are also another component that you'll be reading about in chapters 1 and 2 of the school finance, and then the other components of the 3 different readings. You're going to be asked to do that reading and then do your write-up. A reminder for starting in post number 2, you should be referencing material that you're reading or other sources to validate the points that you're making in your discussion boards. Please remember that these should be master's level caliber post when you put your initial post. So also cite in your post as well where that reference is that you're making. So please remember, discussion board is due, your initial post is always due by Thursday of the week at 11:59 p.m. And then 2 responses to 2 of your peers is due by Sunday of the week at 11:59 p.m. The only week that's different is when we get into week 8, where it would be due Wednesday and then by Friday. But again, this week, the discussion board starts with the introduction and your reflection of what you know about school finance or what you want to know about school finance. Doesn't need a direct referencing to anything, but discussion board number 2, we do start getting into chapters 1 and 2, so you will want to read those as well as the other material before you make your initial post. You will want to cite from one of those components or resources of how you're defining, again, equity and efficiency. So very important to remember. And then I'm going to head back now, at least I think I'm going to head back now, back into the week 1 screen. And with that, let's talk about planning ahead. So there's going to be a total of 5 assignments. You will see those assignments laid out in the syllabus. I right now don't think I need to go to the syllabus because you should understand how to connect and read over those elements of the syllabus. But again, if you have questions, please send those questions. Primarily, the other component to read in the syllabus is our goal, which is, again, to understand school finance and how it impacts student learning, as well as the need to engage the community in talking about finances as well. But in planning ahead, assignment number 1 is an important assignment that is due week 3. I also know that we're heading into summer. So those of you that are at a school site teaching and trying to understand people that you might need to interview, week 3 and assignment 1 due in week 3, and then your culminating assignment, both of those will need somewhat of an interview to talk through school finance with. So you can do it sort of collaboratively, one interview that you can use for both assignments. But just please know your first assignment is going to be due on that Sunday, May 30th, which is week 3, and then assignment number 4, and then some elements of assignment number 5 might need that reflection with that same individual that you're using. That interview can be with your school site administrator or an assistant principal, vice principal that has access and reflection on budget as well. You could also go to your district level and talk to maybe a director of business services or a chief business officer, assistant superintendent of business services. It's always great to network that way and just let them know you're working towards your admin credential, and we'll love to have a conversation with them about finance. Like I said, great way to network. But if you're really looking at planning ahead, week 3 is your assignment number 1, the current school site budget presentation. That's where maybe connecting with your site administrator would be a good thing. Or you could talk, like I said, to someone higher up. Assignment number 2 is that compare and contrast of the LCFF and the basic aid. You will be reading more about that, how school sites are funded, and that is due in week 4. And then week number 5, this collaborative topical presentation where you will be partnered up. I'll be, by the end of the week, giving you partners that you will be assigned to and deciding on what that collaborative topic is going to be and start your project from there. Next week, I'll give more information to it. So this is a little bit longer because it's our first week. I hope that it's a great week for you. I hope that you are blessed greatly. Those of you that might be mothers, whether it is children of your own, adopted children, fostered children, friends' children, or furry children. I hope it's been a good Mother's Day for you if you're watching this after Mother's Day, or if it is Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day. And again, I'm here for any support. I look forward to our 8 weeks together.